How often should I change my oil? It depends on how much you drive. It depends on, do you live on a dirt road? Are you driving stop and go city traffic? Are you driving highway traffic? Uh, are you driving from your home to school and your car never really gets warmed up? That's more wear and tear on your engine than your car heating up. Remember, you need heat in the engine to allow that oil to circulate. And if you don't really get your car warmed up, you're going to have metal on metal contact, and that's going to put a lot of wear and tear. But the reality is, beginning drivers, teens, and young adults are terrible about oil changes, and that can end up building sludge in your engine, and then your car will not function properly, and then you're going to have a huge repair bill where they're going to try to flush your engine out, and that could be more money and also could damage your car. So at the end of the day, beginning drivers and teens are terrible about car maintenance with the oil. How do I check my tire pressure, and what should it be? Well, you want to check your tire pressure cold. You should have a pressure gauge. You can buy those from any auto parts store. You should look on the inside of your door. They have the manufacturer's ratings. It could be different. Or you can look on the tire. Some tires are 32. Some tires are 35. Some tires are 38. It depends on the type of tire you have, and again, the type of driving that you do. So you'll get multiple things, but it's very confusing. But at the end of the day, you need to make sure you have proper air pressure in your tires to decrease your stopping distance, not to increase, to decrease your stopping distance, to have proper wear on your tires. How do I know when my tires need to be replaced? There's something called a wear bar that is in your tires. It's like a little ridge. And like on your shoes, when your shoes start sliding and slipping, you start to see those little ridges. You feel those little ridges. The same thing with your tires. But I think a lot of beginners, teens and young 20s, young 30s, you don't realize how much it costs to get a tire, replace a tire, where do I buy tires at? So you end up getting a lot of bad information, and then you end up driving on tires that are really bad, and in a snow or rainstorm, you're going to spin out. And by then, it's too dangerous because many of you would just put gas in the car, go here, go there, and then it's a wrap. So we want you to really make sure that you look at your tires, check them out, make sure they're not cut, ripped, damaged, and they should have some good tread to push the water out and allow you to have grip on the road. Kind of like walking in your home, walking in school, walking at an office. If your tires or your shoes are worn out, you're going to slip and fall. The same thing with your tires. What's the difference between synthetic and conventional oil? Conventional oil is made basically from the earth, from fossils, bones, trees. It's pumped out from the earth. It's refined. Synthetic oil is made in the laboratory. In my racing application, I have royal purple oil. It is zero weight. In my application, I need oil that's very thin to not have drag on my engine. You're not driving a $40,000 racing engine. You're driving a $5,000, $10,000 production engine that is made to be driven over 100,000 miles. My engine is designed to go through about 100 cycles. Then we change the rods, we change the pistons, we change the rings and bearings. I change the oil every single race because of the application. So it depends. If let's use Ashton as an example. If he got that truck and he start doing off-road racing, he's racing in mud, dirt, grit. That mud, dirt, and grit could get in the air filter. That mud, dirt, and grit will eventually get into his engine. So he needs to change his oil more frequently, maybe every race, every other race, to cut down, but he's going to get that mud, dirt, and grit in the engine. And at the end of the season, he probably should pull the oil pan off and pull one of the bearings out and say, well, are my bearings nice and smooth? Let's pretend this piece of paper is a bearing. Are my bearings nice and smooth? Or is my fingernail kind of dragging or something? You can see those dirt particles. He should have cut open an oil filter to look at the paper elements in the oil filter. Is it gritty? Okay, so you got to start taking care of your engine. Some of you will do that. Some of you won't. Some of your parents build motors. They race. They care about motors more than you maybe, right? But if you're going off track, driving, you got to change the oil more frequently, and it depends on what your budget will allow. How often should I rotate my tires? I would say every 3,000 to 5,000 miles. You want to change your front to the rear, the front to the rear to the back. Then you got to go crisscross. You want to have even wear. Your front tires turn left and right. You'll get more wear on the front tires. Your tires need to be rotated. When should I replace my brake pads? When you start to have a very low pedal. When you're squeezing your brake pedal should go down about halfway. You should feel your brake pad squeeze that rotor. And if it doesn't squeeze the rotor properly, maybe you're low on brake fluid. You might want to check it. We'll check it this weekend. We did check the oil. We did put oil in. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Ashton. We put oil in. We checked the oil. Every time you get gas, or every other time, you need to check your oil. Again, beginners don't do that. They think the oil's going to last forever, and then when your oil light comes on, usually your motor locks up. In my application, because I'm in a quarter mile application, I'm very sensitive to my oil pressure. Then when I put a parachute, I'm pulling 3 Gs, so the oil pressure drops down, but I have a deeper oil pan that keeps the oil pump covered. You are just driving a passenger car, and you might go around a curve, you might see a little oil pressure drop, or you might have a sudden stop. Usually if someone runs out in front of you, you're going to have a sudden stop and your motor goes so it could have a sudden stop like that. But you want to check those brake pads. A lot of you don't have the tools. Brake pads maybe cost $20, but you got to get a jack, you got to get a tire iron, you got to get a special tool. Some of you, Maddie, already know how to do those things because you have a parent who really loves cars and you've learned from your mom and dad how to work on cars. And you're like, I enjoy working on my car. Brake pads, I can put those on for $20. I'm not going to pay someone $250 because you wait for your pads to scratch up the rotors. Now you got to pay for brake pads. That's $25. Rotors cost $150. But the rotors today are very thin. They're made to wear out. On my client's Charger, it was $680. New rotors and pads. Okay, on older cars, you just change the pads. If the rotors aren't bad, you're good. But they're meant to be turned one time. You really want to get a micrometer. What's a micrometer? A micrometer is a measuring device where you measure the thickness of the metal. And if your rotors are too thin, they're going to crack. The Z01, that's a high performance car. A lot of guys or ladies get those. They take them to the road track. After maybe a year of racing, they're going to throw those rotors away. They're going to pay $1,200 for new rotors and brakes. That's what they do. That's a high performance race car. That's what they're built for. How do I check my fluids level, cooling, brake fluid, oil? You wait till your car's cooled off. You check the radiator. You check the cap. The cap has a 20-pound or 25-pound limit. So when it heats up, it's going to compress that antifreeze. Wait till it's cold. You unscrew it. I don't have antifreeze down here because it's toxic. What's up, Jackson? It's toxic. But I have windshield washer solvent. A lot of you will never see this because you don't know about car maintenance. You need a couple of gallons of this in your car in the wintertime. So you know how to put windshield washer solvent in. Antifreeze is a different color. And this is poisonous though too, but you don't want your pet drinking this. This is not Kool-Aid, okay? So you don't want to have this around your pet. And this is good for -20 because it gets cold in the Midwest. And some of you are going to get cold this wintertime and you're going to be freezing and your windshield washer soffit will be empty and your windshield wiper blades will stick to your windshield. Now you're really going to be messed up. So transmission fluid, there's a dipstick that you pull out. You want to check it on a level surface. It shouldn't be overfilled or you're going to burn up your transmission. Brake fluid, it should be in a level surface. There'll be a little line, a little plastic reservoir that you put in. No, not. Yes, it looks like Kool-Aid or something sweet. This is poisonous. Your little brother or sister will drink this. A pet will drink this. You don't want to have this around little kids. They're curious by nature. Unless you want to have someone in your family pass, you don't want to do that. What do warning lights on the dashboard mean? There's something wrong with your car. It could be a loose gas cap. It could be a tire that's losing pressure. You could have a brake line that's broken. You could be losing, you could have a dirty air filter and your car's not running properly. So you got to stay on that maintenance. How often should I replace my air filter? How much do you drive? I would say at least every 6 months, open the air filter box up, pull the air filter out. You should be able to see light through it. If you're cheap, you get an air compressor and you blow out all the dust and grit and leaves and you're good. If you want to spend some money, go get an original equipment air filter for $10, $15. If you really want to go fast, you can get a K&N filter for $50. You spray some oil in there, and then it catches the dirt and grit. You might get 10 more horsepower, but a lot of you won't do the maintenance because it's not important to you, and then your car's almost dying on life support. Then you'll say, Mom, Dad, there's something wrong with my car. Well, honey, your air filter's black. Your oil is dirty. You don't have any windshield washer fluid, and your transmission's getting ready to be burnt up. We're going to take the car from you because you don't know how to drive and take care of your car. So some of your parents will do that to you because you don't care about maintenance. How do I jump start a car? You need to get some jumper cables. Positive is red, negative is black, positive is a plus, negative is a minus, red to red, black to black. The car that's running, you leave that running. The car that needs a boost, you allow the batteries to charge each other and then you start it up. But a lot of you won't spend the money to get cables because you're cheap, and good cheap ones cost $20. The good ones cost $30 or $40. You won't get them. And then when your car breaks down, you're going to be stranded. When should I replace my battery? If the car's over 5 years to 7 years, I would consider replacing the battery. It happens in the wintertime or in the summertime. When it's really hot, that's really hard on batteries. The air conditioning is hard for the motor to start. In the winter, it's very cold. The oil is very thick. You're going to be stranded one day at your friend's house, or you're going to be someplace you don't need to be. Then you get in trouble, and then you have to lie to your parents. Don't lie to your parents. How do I check the condition of my belts and hoses? You want to check them, I would say every 6 months. They shouldn't be cracks. They shouldn't be bubbles in the hoses. The alternator belt, fan belt should not be cracked. How do I know if my car's alignment is off? The car will pull to the right or pull to the left when you hit the brakes. You should be able to take your hands off the steering wheel. The car should move straight. If it pulls to the right or left, you ran over a pothole, you hit a curb, your car's out of alignment. And then your car will use more gas. How do I replace my windshield wipers? There's a little hook. It clips on, but a lot of you don't want to do that because it's too cold in the wintertime, or you're too lazy and your mom and dad don't know how to do it. So you're going to pay someone $25 to unhook your plastic lever. It's really easy. You should learn to do that. What should I do if my engine overheats? You want to pull over to the side of the road. You turn on your heater that blows the hot air out of the engine and that cools it off. But you have a deeper problem. Maybe you got leaking antifreeze. Maybe you have a hole in your hose. You don't know. You've got to check. You got to look for puddles underneath your car. How to tell if I need new spark plugs? Your car won't start properly. It misses. It hesitates. You get terrible gas mileage. You don't have a lot of power when you push the gas. How can I tell if I need new spark plugs? You don't know because you can't see the spark plugs. You need to take one spark plug out. You get a spark plug socket. You put it on. You turn it. You pull out this. You pull out the spark plug. If it's black and sooty, your car's too rich. If it's shiny and a lot of porcelain, you're about to blow up your engine. So most of you will drive computer controlled cars that will set the air fuel mixture. Some of you will have cars that have carburetors. Most of the cars you drive will have computers controlling that. Paint, if you care about your car, you'll wax it at least once a month. Once every 3 months, you'll wash it. You'll get some special soap to get off all the road grit, and then you'll wax it. But a lot of people are lazy, and you won't ever wash your car, and then it looks like crap, and your paint's fading. And a car is a reflection of you, like that lime green F1 Ram 1500. That thing is nice and clean and sparkly. Bing! So you got to clean your car. Regular checks and maintenance are very important.